Well, hello and welcome back, everybody, to this week's SC1 Factory Call. We do these calls every Tuesday night, and we hope that it gives you some information to build on. We are going for SC1s in our business, and as we focus on that specific rank, it's going to help you build your dream as you start to build your team. So remember, we do record these every single week. We upload them to the Team Freedom Reigns YouTube channel. The QR code on this slide will take you directly there. Make sure that you go and subscribe, ring the bell, make sure that you get notifications every time we upload new content. And again, this call is every week. It's the same Zoom ID and passcode every single week. So make sure you save that into your calendar so you have the information at your fingertips. All right, so we thought that this was over at the end of December, but this promotion has been held over through January 2026. This is where you can invite people to join you as customers or consultants and get a huge discount on some of our basically it's like our focus products, right? So you can get 25% savings when you purchase the Healthy Edge stack and the Mind Body System together in this stack. 25% savings is huge to be able to help you hit that no resolution revolution, right? And if you just need to add in Mind Body, or if you have a customer that wants to get started on Mind Body, they are also offering a 20% discount off of this stack. And by the way, guys, they do not discount these products like ever. So having this special, this bonus, this opportunity to help people get started, and for you to actually be able to do this on your own subscription and get this discount here in January as well, go for it, take advantage of it, and help your new customers and consultants get started on that as well. All right, so guys, we have got our Breakthrough Global Kickoff virtual event this coming Saturday. I am so excited for the information that's going to be coming. It is at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, that's noon Eastern Time. Make sure that you get registered. It is free to register, and you want to host a watch party as well. So again, that is this Saturday. This is the registration QR code to be able to go in and get registered, or go to your replicated website, go down to the bottom and click on the global kickoff for January, and there will be a registration link right there for you as well. Now, you want to make sure and attend the virtual event, and you need to be registered even though it's for free, because when you register, you always get, first of all, you have to register to get the link, but you also get the recording for about 30 days. So make sure that you get registered for that event. That's this Saturday, and you are going to be able to be there in person to learn the locations of the Achievers Retreat and the executive destination for 2026. So there's actually going to be two mini trips this year, and they are now calling them Achievers Retreat. I really like that name because you really need to work hard, you need to be focused, and you need to follow through with your habits, right, to be able to achieve the trips. And so make sure that you are on the virtual event so that you can learn about where we're going to go for the first Achievers Retreat, as well as the executive destination that we can all be running for this year. Because I got to tell you guys, there have been people that have hit the executive ranks in 3 months of having their business open. They aren't anybody more special than you. They just put these habits into place, and they focused and they worked really, really hard to be able to get there. So making a decision is the very first thing that you have to do to be able to do that, right? Well, let's talk a little bit more about the Achievers Retreat qualifications. So the qualification period actually started January 1st, and it goes through the end of March. So between January, February, and March, you need to earn 75 points. And by the way, I already know the location for this trip, and you will definitely want to be going. So 75 points earned between January and the end of March will help you earn this amazing Achievers Retreat. So what do you need to do to be able to earn those points? It's going to go right along with the ERA, the Enroll, Retain, and Advance. They put that in a couple years ago, right? And it's been really phenomenal in the way that we've been able to build our businesses with it. So with the Enroll, the way that you earn points is that for every new customer or new consultant that you enroll with at least 200 in sales volume or more, you are going to earn points. Now notice here, for customers with 200 in sales volume or more, you get 1 point. And for consultants With 200 in sales volume or more, you get 3 points. So extra points for those that put in the comment section. Which will get you there faster? Talking about the opportunity or talking about the products? It's going to be talking about the opportunity, right? Because you get triple the points for enrolling consultants. Well, then the retain portion where you can earn additional points here is that you earn points each time you increase your total personally enrolled subscription volume above baseline. So they're going to have a tracker. They're going to have your baseline all set up for you. We're just kind of giving you a little insight into what you need to be focused on to earn these points so you can get started now. You don't have to wait until Saturday, right? And so by increasing your own personal baseline subscription volume, that's you, your own personally enrolled consultants, and your own personally enrolled customers' subscription volume. You do that by increasing by 500 in sales volume per month, and you will earn 3 points each time you increase by 500 in sales volume, okay? So if you did 1,000 in 1 month, you could get 6 points, right? So it's a matter of upselling your current customers, obtaining new customers, and upselling your current consultants and obtaining new consultants for you to be able to earn these additional points. Well, on top of that, between January and March, there is extra retain track bonuses that are going to be yours for the grabbing. For every 3 retain tracks that you obtain January through March, you will also earn $500 with a max of $1,500. Okay, so that means if you go out and you get 9 retained tracks in January, February, and March, not only will you get 27 points towards the trip, you're also going to earn $1,500. Could anybody use $1,500? This is a really great bonus that we've got going on, and these are going on simultaneously, so you can be earning both at the same time. Now, the advanced portion of the trip earnings to be able to get points as you personally rank advance, and then as you help your downline consultants rank advance that are your personally sponsored consultants. For you rank advancing, if you rank advance to SC1 or SC2, you get 20 points. SC3 gets you another 20 points. MC1 gets you 30, and so on and so forth, as you see here on the left-hand side of this screen. And then the downline rank advancements. Basically, you get half the points for helping someone in your downline rank advance to SC1, but when they rank advance to SC2, you're getting 15 additional points, and then SC3, 20 additional points. So if you go out and you help someone rank advance to SC1 in the first month here in January, you're going to earn 10 points. They're going to earn 20. You help them rank advance to SC2. They're still in that same SC1, SC2. It's 20 points, right? Well, you're going to earn an additional 15 points for helping them do that. And then for SC3, you're going to be earning 20 points. So that's showing us that you're actually earning the same amount of points as they are. That is crazy. I'm wondering if that's a typo. I'm going to have to ask about that. But this is a really great way for you to be able to earn additional points. Just know that by personally rank advancing, you're going to earn points. And by helping your personally sponsored consultants, you're also going to earn points towards the Achievers Retreat. And then at the same time, as you're earning the points for the Achievers Retreat, you're going to be growing your business. You're going to be ranking up, and you're going to be getting closer and closer and closer to becoming an executive consultant. So every year, corporate goes crazy above and beyond on designing these trips for people that either achieve executive in this coming year, or they have the executive rank and they fulfill the additional requirements to be able to go on once-in-a-lifetime trips, okay? So the executive destination qualification started January 1st, and it goes through the end of December. Okay, so you're going to be able to be earning points towards the executive destination while you're earning the the Achievers trips. Okay, and remember, there's going to be 2 Achievers trips. So you actually have the opportunity to earn 3 trips this year. That's crazy. So how do you earn points or get qualified to be on the executive destination trip? Well, first of all, you need to sell 5,000 in new sales volume to personally enrolled customers and consultants throughout this year. Or, so this is an either or you can help one of your personally sponsored consultants advance their lifetime rank to SC2 or above. So if you have a personally sponsored consultant that is a consultant 3, if you help them rank advance to an SC2, which is only 3,500 in volume, guys, you have got this first enroll qualification point handled. Okay. So it's super easy to be able to get there. You either 5,000 in new sales volume yourself or helping someone that you've personally sponsored rank advance to SC2 or above. Now, the retain portion here is this is for people that are the rank of EC3 or above. It says Elite Pro 9 on there because this is not just for the United States. This is for other markets as well that are still on the old compensation plan. So you retain a paid as rank as EC3 if you are already there 8 months out of the year and you are taken care of in the retained portion, okay? Well, if you're not an EC3 or above, then you need to advance your recognition rank to Executive Consultants 1, which is 80,000 in organizational volume, or above, and maintain that new rank at least 2 additional months. So what this means is that if your lifetime rank, maybe you're an SC3, and you need to rank advance up to an EC1. If you do that rank advancement by October, you then need to maintain it November and December to qualify. December is one of the required hitting that rank to be able to qualify, okay? Now, if you need to rank advance to EC3, you again have clear until October to hit that rank, and then you have to maintain it November and December. It's much better though, guys, if you hit the rank earlier and then you have that extra months to make sure that you're maintaining the volume and growing the volume to be able to qualify with those 3 times in total and including December 26th as one of them. So when you rank advance to executive consultants in 2026, let's make sure that you rank advance at least by October and you maintain November and December, and you're qualified, guys. That's it. Help somebody hit, that SC2 rank or above, and hit EC1 and maintain it 2 months. And you have earned that huge once in a lifetime trip executive destination. And you will be finding out where we'll be going on Saturday at the virtual event. So how can you earn the trips? And I saw that Dr. Dondee hopped on here with us. So I'm glad that you're here, babe, because we're going to be able to jump into the call portion or the training portion of this call. We are really focused on how we're going to be able to accomplish everything we want to this year. And it's not by setting those lofty goals. Yes, we have to have an idea of where we want to go, yet we have to be breaking down the small atomic habits that we need to implement and master to be able to achieve the things that we really want to achieve. So how can you earn the trips? It's all about your atomic habits. So we are doing a book review of the Atomic Habits book right here. The author is James Clear. At the end of this call, I will have a slide that has the QR code where you can go and get your book if you do not have it yet. But this is such a powerful book that as Dondee and I were starting to read it again at the end of 2025, we decided it was like unanimous that we absolutely needed to do this with you because it is so powerful in how it can help you grab hold of something that has been elusive for years, maybe even decades to you that you've really, really wanted, but you've just not ever quite got there. And we're learning so much, and we hope that this is going to bless you as well. So Dondee, do you want to go ahead and come on here and really kind of flow with this training portion, and I'll jump in as appropriate.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marci. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and sorry for the delay getting on. We actually had a new patient that came in right before. But yes, the Atomic Habits, and as Marci said, we were starting to read it again at the end of the year. And this is the third time that I've read, and I think probably about the same for Marci, but it's just so profound. And it's worth the third time, and it's worth, in full transparency, implementing everything we learn this time around. And what do they say about how to learn something? That you don't learn something as well as when you teach it. So we thought, let's go through a book review. Let's do this slow. Let's give people the opportunity to read through the book. Let's talk about it when we do, and let's implement it into our lives, and let's do it collectively so we could actually watch and support each other as we reap the benefits of it. But what makes these habits atomic is their size. And it would even be, because when you split an atom, which is extremely small, you can't see them with the naked eye. You have to look at it through an electron microscope. But the power that is released when you split something as small as an atom creates bombs. And we have absolutely crazy results from that. Well, these habits, these atomic habits, are small. They're very small, and they are very, very, when you take small little tiny habits and you make a goal of being 1% better every day over a prolonged period of time, you literally can transform your life. And that is what the benefit and the allure is of this book and the tiny habits in it. It's not changing major things or changing everything. It's very small changes compounded over time. So if you would, Marci, go to the next slide. So the surprising power of atomic habits is its simplicity and its smallness, literally 1% better every day. And that can be in one more call every day, one more reach out every day, one more follow-up every day, one more post on social media, whatever 1% better looks like, one more hello, one more hug, whatever it is, in whatever capacity of life, 1% better every day over a year, just as something as short as a calendar year. And how rapidly do years pass? Oh my gosh, we just had New Year's, and how long was it before that to seem like we had the previous New Year's? And the older we get, the more rapidly they come. So it doesn't take long to change major outcomes in your life with 1% better every day. So small habits compound into massive results over time, and that 1% better every day beats radical, unsustainable changes. And so right now we are on the 6th day of January, and there are already people in gyms that have decided that this New Year's resolutions thing of getting in shape is going to go by the wayside, and next week they probably won't be in the gym. That's just how things work when people make them too lofty, or the goal is too big or radical to be sustainable. So why tiny atomic habits are so great is because they're easy to maintain because they are so small. Literally one more post a day, one more call a day. That's what 1% better every day looks like. And then success is the system. It's not a single breakthrough that you may have. It's the system behind the goal. And so people make goals all the time. They always make New Year's resolutions and the goals, and the unsustainable nature of it due to the magnitude of it is why there is January 17th every year, which is Ditch New Year's Resolutions Day, because the goals were too lofty and they were not easily sustainable because it was too much effort and time involved. So success is a system. It's not a single breakthrough. And your outcomes are a lagging measure of your habits. So kind of think, and let me just going to break that down. So wherever you are in your life, in your business, in relationships, or whatever you are measuring, your current status of that measurable thing is the lagging measure of your habits as they relate to that thing. So if you have people that have an amazing marriage, didn't just inherit or wake up one day to an amazing marriage. It's the tiny things they do every day. Oops, let me put my key back in. I think you guys probably just lost my picture.
No, it's okay. While you're doing that, while you're getting repositioned there, I want to actually read the little paragraph that's in the book that talks about your outcomes are a lagging measure of your habits, if you don't mind. Because I think it really lays it out really, really well. It's on page 18 if you have your book, but your outcomes are a lagging measure of your habits. It means that your outcomes come after you've been performing your habits for a long enough period of time. It comes after, right? So your net worth is a lagging measure of your financial habits. Your weight is a lagging measure of your eating habits. Your knowledge is a lagging measure of your learning habits. Your clutter is a lagging measure of your cleaning habits. You get what you repeat. And so if you take a look at how you ended up 2025 or any year prior to now, and the results that you had, and you look back beyond that into the year previous, if you just look at what you got, you can probably understand why you got that, right? Because maybe you didn't do things consistently, like the next bullet point here says, consistency always outperforms intensity, right? So it's a matter of learning those small little habits that you do consistently every single day. Increase only 1% each day, not going huge, all balls out, right? We are talking about what will work long term and get you where you want to be. So anything else you want to add on this slide, babe? And then I'll move on.
No, thank you for that. So yeah, one last thing. So that last bullet point there, consistency always outperforms intensity. So think of it this way. It is one of the main reasons why New Year's resolutions go by the wayside is because people overestimate the results that they're going to have. And so, people are notorious for that. It happens all the time. So we overestimate what we can accomplish in the first month, or in the first 3 months, or in the first 6 months. So in other words, things aren't happening as rapidly as we would like them to. We expect them to, they don't, we get frustrated and we quit. But here's the thing, if you don't quit and you stick to it, people significantly underestimate what they can accomplish in a year if they implement the tiny atomic habits. And that is where consistency always outperforms intensity, because the people in the first week of every year in the gym, they're going at it pretty intensely. And then the soreness sets in, and they're like, well, this sucks. And they go back in the next time and they're still sore. So they try to be as intense and they can't be. And before you know it, they're not intense at all. They're just, screw that. We're not going to, they keep the, and this is the interesting thing. It's why gyms are so successful, because the people that join the gym in January keep their credit card being charged every month, because they think, one, they see the charge every month. It's going to incentivize them to go back. They don't. And the gyms end up making money, even though there's less people there than are actually being charged every month. That's kind of how gyms stay in business. So go ahead. Next slide, Marci. And so habits shape identity, and identity shapes habits. So I love this part about it, because one of the things about the Atomic Habits book that he talks about is developing who you are. What is your identity? What are you, rather than setting goals, what is the accomplisher, or who do you have to become with the system in place to be what you want? And so finding out who you are, what makes you tick, what do you want? What do you want to accomplish? Once you establish that identity, then you put the habits in place, and then you become that leader, that business owner, that happily married person, whatever it is, that wonderful mother or father or spouse or whatever you're aspiring to be. Once you develop that identity of who you want to be, and then you put the tiny habits of getting 1% better every day toward that effort, then you will become what you become. And in network marketing, specifically with our businesses here at LifeVantage, what that looks like is using our ITT, one more invite, one more follow-up, one more post, one more check-in, one more reach out, whatever the case may be, one more call, one more team training, one more video you watch, or whatever that may be. And so lasting change starts with an identity, not your outcome. That's why people that are goal-oriented, if they have a system to get those goals, they usually achieve it. If they just set goals, but they haven't established first what kind of a person are they going to need to be to get those goals, and they don't have systems in place, they just have a bunch of goals that they never reach. Because it's important to have the identity and then focus on the system that gives you the outcome. And every action casts a vote. I love this. Every action casts a vote for who you are becoming. So for example, if you wake up to an alarm, when you hit the snooze and go back to sleep for an additional 9 minutes, you gave yourself a vote for being a laggard, or being somebody who is a procrastinator, or somebody who's going to do it later. If when the alarm goes up or goes off, you turn it off, throw the covers back, let that cold air hit your face, put your feet on the ground and get up, you just gave yourself a vote for a successful, go grab the bull by the horns approach person. And so literally every single action you do toward in your system of goal attention or goal acquisition rather, to become the person and get the results, whether it's a leader, a happily married person or whatever, every single action, whatever it is a vote for who you are becoming, which is why the identity portion is so critical that you get first. And then focus on becoming a leader, not just building a rank or a business. Focus on being there. Yesterday, I took a picture of it, and we have, so Tim Tebow, he has a daily devotional, and he talks about rather than trying to achieve success, try to achieve significance, because significant people, by their very actions, are most of the time successful. But sometimes successful people are very insignificant, meaning they may be personally successful and have a lot of monetary wealth to themselves, but they're not really helping anybody. And so rather than striving to be successful, which is an okay identity, strive to be significant, and you can become successful, and in doing so, help other people be successful and influence the world in the process. So identity-based habits stick under pressure, because your identity is somebody who is doing it for what reason. So when the adversity comes, when the pressure comes, when the obstacle comes, if it's all about you, most of the time people quit. When it's about the welfare of other people, if you have ever heard Aaron Brockovich say, we have stick-to-itiveness, because stick-to-itiveness is driven by passion, which is driven by the identity to accomplish something that makes you significant, to impact the lives and results of other people. And the more people, the more significant, the more passion it takes, and the more committed and the greater identity that is. And then you don't rise to goals, you fall to your identity, unless your identity encompasses all of that and it strives to be significant to help other people.
Yeah,
and Marcy,
so
anytime you want to jump in, go ahead.
Yeah, most definitely. So a couple things I want to say here is that, again, keep in mind, we aren't jumping from who you were to who you want to be, right? This has to be small steps, small choices, small decisions that you're making on a daily basis to create these new 1% better habits to be able to help you get where you want to be as the individual, that will be able to accomplish the goals that you have decided on, right? And so like when Dondee was talking about hopping out of bed, it's like, I don't have no desire to be a super early riser, but I do want to get up earlier, right? And so one of the atomic habits that I have set into my schedule is I've set my alarm for 5 minutes earlier than what it was before. And I'm going to have it at that. Before it was 6:30. Now I've got it 6:25. It's going to be 6:25 for 2 weeks. And then I'm going to do it to 6:20 for 2 weeks. And then I'm going to go for 6:15 for 2 weeks. And I'm going to build it into myself until I get up to 6 a.m. That's my goal. But guys, if I just jumped from 6:30 to 6, I'd probably shut off my alarm and just go back to sleep for half an hour. So it's a matter of breaking down the result that we want into that micro atomic habit that will help you develop it. Another one that I'm doing is I want to, and we're going to have a time for you guys to be able to share some of the characteristics you want to develop to become the person, that identity here in a little bit in the call. But one of them for me is that I want to be more physically fit, stronger, right? And so after I've gotten up that 5 minutes early, when I'm in the bathroom and I'm brushing my teeth, while I'm listening to my Bible app, I'm also going to do 10 push-ups on the counter and 10 squats to start my activity for the day. And then midday, I'm going to do some exercises. And then later in the afternoon, I have it set up to do some additional exercises. So it's not taking an hour out of my day. It's taking 5-10 minutes. And these are atomic habits that I am building into my schedule so that I can create that identity and become the person that accomplishes her goals. So I just wanted to share that quick. And this next slide, again, it's why simple always wins. Go ahead, babe.
Yeah, and so when you have options to either take the single path towards something where you've set your identity, you've set your goals, you put the system in place to achieve those goals, and you're fully in touch with the person that it's going to take to achieve those goals by implementing that system, then it's pretty simple. And you get simple wins because everything you're doing is a micro change or an atomic habit, rather than the complexity and the diversity and literally the overwhelming nature of all the big changes. A lot of times when people want to make a big change in life, they'll make all kinds of changes, but they'll be big ones. They'll wake up earlier, they'll switch their diet all of a sudden, they'll start working out, they'll start reading books, they'll start doing biofeedback and stuff, and there's too many things, and it becomes unsustainable. And then one by one, those things drop off until they're right back to where they were before, with the guilt trip that they're giving themselves that comes along with it, because they missed the easy, clear path of getting simple wins by making simple habits, the atomic habits, and implementing them. So complex plans literally create resistance because they create stress and they create unsustainability. Simple habits remove the friction because you get easy, early wins. And the earlier wins you get, the more sustainable it becomes, because the more confidence you gain, the more credibility you give to yourself, the more you're voting for your own success, and therefore the momentum starts to build. The momentum beats motivation all day, every day. And then the environment around you shapes your behavior more than willpower, because you're starting to get those easy wins, those small wins, the credibility of making choices, that making a vote for your future self, and the credibility and the confidence that comes along with that, plus just feeling good and looking at yourself very differently, and then designing your day for your success based on that, with a clear path, a straight line to it, 1% better every day, rather than confusing roads of so much change that it becomes unsustainable, overwhelming, and then turns into a guilt trip for you later, and you end up feeling worse about yourself than better. And then the 4-step habit loop. I love this part about it, which is the cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. And I used last week's call, I used the example of Starbucks. Starbucks has a Starbucks on every corner because it's a cue. You notice it. And people that don't even want coffee in the morning when they drive by, because if they didn't see that there was an opportunity to get it, they wouldn't go for it. But they see Starbucks is right there. They look at the drive-through line. It's not that long. The queue is the sign. The next queue is the drive-up line being short. And then the craving is they want a cup of coffee. They pull in the line. The response is they order the coffee. They get the coffee. They got the reward. And the more frequently they do that, it turns into a habit. And bad habits and good habits are built the same way in the beginning. But breaking bad habits, and we'll talk about that too, is the exact reverse of this. So the cue, the craving, the reward, the response, and the reward, they're the same. You just reverse engineer them. So the cue is what triggers the behavior. And it's something that's obvious. It's visible. You see it. You smell it. You taste, whatever the case. That's why Burger King restaurants, go by this. Drive by a McDonald's and roll down your window in your car and smell and see if you smell anything. Drive by another hamburger place. Drive by a Burger King. What you'll notice very distinctly is this smell of and it's not even the burgers cooking at Burger King. It is an artificial fake smell put out into the atmosphere around Burger King, but it's the cue. It has a very distinct smell, and and your brain will subconsciously trigger it to Burger King. You'll crave a hamburger, you'll get in line, and you'll go in and purchase it. And now, why do you think they had to do that? Why do you think Burger King does that? Who are they competing with? McDonald's, which has sold more than any other fast food restaurant on planet Earth. And so they have to think of these creative cues, but that's how habits are built. The cue is what triggers the behavior of taking the action, which is the response, which gives you the reward, which was the result of the action. So the craving is the desire behind the habit. So the cue, then the craving, it draws you in. It's that dopamine rush that you get to get the response, which is the action that you take. And then the reward is the benefit you receive by taking the action. That is how positive habits and negative habits, unfortunately, are built. You just got to decide which ones are beneficial, which ones are not, and break the bad habits by doing the reverse. And then master this loop to master the behavior, realizing that this 4-step habit loop is how you build better habits in 4 steps, realizing what the cues are. Or if you don't know what the cues are, create the cue. whether that cue is a Post-it note you put on the mirror, or a picture of someone that has the body that you want to have and cut out a picture of your head and put it on their shoulders. That's the cue. That's going to create the craving, which is going to give the response. Going to the gym, which is going to give the reward when you put your picture of your real self next to that cue self, and you can't tell the difference. That's how it's built. And that is, again, the person that you want to become. And if you can build your goals and build your systems around the person you want to become and use the cues to get you there, this 4-step habit loop can become something that you literally master. But it takes understanding how it works, making it work in your favor, and then actually following through and going through the 4 steps of the cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. And
okay.
so this is your slide.
This is actually where, if anybody is on here, I know, Carol, you're doing this, you got the book. Dr. Pat, I don't know if you have this book and if you're reading with us yet. Emmy, if you got the book. Teresa and Hagen, I don't know if you had known about this or not, but I'd love to ask you, and if you want to share, would love for you to unmute yourself. What identity characteristics are you focusing on developing? You don't necessarily have to have the full breakdown of the atomic habits that you're going to put into place yet, but what identity characteristics are you focused on developing after reading this first portion of the book with us? Like for me, it's like I definitely want to be consistent and dependable. Starting with myself, when Dondee was talking about being a leader, we have to start with leading ourselves, right? I want to be a student of the word, which means reading my Bible, getting up early and spending time in it, right? Being available as a counselor and as a prayer warrior for people. These are different things that I want to develop within myself. But on top of that, emotionally resilient leadership. Those are characteristics that I am going to be focusing on in developing my identity. Do any of you have anything that you'd like to just shout out there? It doesn't have to be a big thing. It's just something that has come to you that you really feel like you need to be working on in your identity. Or if you know exactly who you want to become and you've just dialed it in, we'd love for you to unmute yourself and share that with us right now, or put it in the comments if you'd prefer to do that too. While we're waiting for them, babe, did you have anything that you wanted to share that you've decided on that you want to be focusing on?
Absolutely. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So one of the things that I love about the definition of different people's definition of leaders, one of the things I love about John C. Maxwell's definition of a leader is he said a leader is someone who knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. So they know the way, they know what to do, goes the way themselves to get the results, and then turns around and shows other people how to do it. So a leader knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. That's the first thing. And then as far as being a leader, leaders are constantly readers. So I made it, and I shared this, I think, with you yesterday, Marci. So I want to be, and so when in the book, James Clear talks about you don't read to read a book, you read to become a reader. And once you become a reader, then you're always going to read. I want to read at least 3 books every single month. And I'm going to devote an hour a day to reading a book. Now, Marci and I are putting in about an hour a day in our Bible in the morning, but I want to do that with a regular book, and books that obviously are going to teach me something. And Tony Robbins, who's another leader that I greatly admire, he talks about when you read the books that are authored by other people, you can turn decades into days, meaning this person can write something about their decades of experience, and you don't have to go through the decades of experience. You just read this person's book and gain the wisdom, because the decades of experience is what wrote the book, which is where the wisdom contained in it. And if you read the book, it's like a Cliff Notes version of that person's decades of life. So turning decades into days by being a reader. And many people, I don't know who the original author was, but readers are leaders. And so I want to know the way, go the way, show the way, and keep that process going by becoming an avid reader and reading at least 3 books, preferably 4, maybe more, depending upon how. And I want to read at least, so an hour a day, I'm going to be probably tackling at least 2 or 3 or 4 250 to 300 page books. And Marci and I've got a bookshelf, a crazy bookshelf in our house. So we don't have a shortage of books to choose from, but that are going to be to help me be the better leader so we can turn around and help you and show you how we turn decades into days by reading people's books that have greater experience and wisdom and success levels and significance that we currently don't have. So that's my synopsis.
Love that. So lifetime learner, um,
Yep.
seeking knowledge. Carol put, she wants to be a better leader, a better grandma, a better friend, peacemaker, and always do what I say I'm going to do. That's so good, Carol. So, so good. And you are so, so well on your way to that. Thank you for sharing that, Carol. We appreciate you. And if you guys, as we go along here, if you want to add things into the comments, please go ahead and do that. We appreciate the interaction. So next week, we are going to be jumping into the first law, which is the next section in the book, and it is all about making it obvious. When Dondee was going through the four different, let's see here, the habit loop, right? The cue, the craving, the reward, and the response, okay? Or the response and the reward. Next week is going to be that first one, make it obvious. So the clarity is going to help you create consistency in your actions. And when you have consistency in your actions for a long enough period of time, because that's one of the things that it talked about in the book as well, is that people oftentimes stop with the behaviors because they're not seeing the results, right? And so making sure that you know that it does take time. This 1% better daily does not mean in 2 weeks you're going to see a difference, right? It means that over time you're going to become stronger in many different areas of your life. And that clarity is going to obviously lead to consistency, and it's going to be your consistency that leads to seeing the change that you're desiring. So what you see shapes what you do. Do you want to jump in there, babe?
Yeah, I love that. So the key here is to make it obvious. And so that's why I use this example of Post-it notes, because they're a great reminder of whatever it is. When it's obvious, it's in front of, and when it's repeated, when it's on the mirror, when it's on the refrigerator, when it's inside the refrigerator, when it's on the sun visor of your car, whatever it is, make it obvious. And so it's a constant reminder of that cue. What is either read 10 pages, call 3 prospects, whatever it is for you to create the craving, which creates the response, which gives you the reward. And then it creates that habit loop. That's how all habits are built. So whatever it is for you, whatever you see shapes what you do, because it's a constant visual reminder in your environment, which is why the environment you create builds the motivation around you. Even if people are saying, you got this, come on, we're pulling for you, we're praying for you, you have somebody call you every day at the same time to give you or text you to remind you, that's fantastic. But that is also short-lived if the environment around you does not sustain that or does not support that, because you can't rely on motivation when the environment around you isn't filled with obvious cues.
Love that so much. So Emmy wrote, she wants to stay focused on her daily checklist. This right here is going to be so helpful for you on that, Emmy. When you have things in front of your face and you see them more frequently, it's harder to get distracted from looking at maybe a singular list, right? That you might have like in your phone, or you might have it in one area. So making it be what you see in many different areas is going to help you be able to stay focused on that daily checklist. I love that. Thank you so much. Anything else on this slide? Are you good?
So leaders design visibility. That again is it's creating your environment of visible cues, and then the obvious habits get done. So the ones that you can see, that remind you they need to get done, are the ones that get done, not the one behind the closet door, not the ones in the other room. It's the ones that you see. The visibility is what creates leaders, because you design your environment to remind you on a constant cue, and that's the law 1. So we're going to go over that next week.
And just an example of that, something I just did today, because Dondee and I were having the conversation, I need to get out and do more walks, but at work, he's getting his almost 10,000 steps at work, right? So for him to come down home and go on a walk with me, it's kind of late, we're both tired, all that kind of stuff. And so I've decided that I'm going to be going on my walk earlier in the morning after he goes to work. And the thing that I am doing to make it obvious is that I laid out my workout clothes with my shoes and my socks and everything right next to the bed, so that instead of getting up and putting on my robe in the morning, I'm going to get up and I'm going to put on my walking clothes, so that when I go down to read the Bible with him, I'm already ready so that I can just take off on my walk. And so these are things that can help make it obvious that this is the next thing that I do, is by actually having the clothes on and starting with having them laid out the night before. So those are the things that we're going to be working on developing here at our house. And this is what you can also start being able to develop at your home for yourself. So next week again is going to be the first law, make it obvious. Again, the QR code is here that you can get the book through Amazon, as well as I did put it into the chat if you're on here live with us, to where you can go and get the book. So thank you guys so much for being on here with us tonight. We look forward to continuing this review. Make sure that you're registered. Make sure that you're on the virtual event on Saturday, so that you can find out what the destinations are for the Achievers trip, as well as for the executive trip, guys. You want to make sure that you're on there so that you can know the destinations, and you can be building your habits so that you can achieve the outcome that you want by being on those trips.